Okay, let's make a start. So welcome everybody to our Lunch and Learn webinar series, where we tell you all about what is going on here at Compleat and how to get the most out of your iComplete subscription. Today's session will cover the new budgets, financial budgets function that has just launched within the system. Today, we're excited to welcome Heath Books to the Compleat ecosystem as one of our trusted suppliers. Heath Books is a leading educational supplier dedicated supporting schools with a wide range of curriculum-focused resources. From textbooks to teaching aids, they provide tailored solutions that help educators deliver impactful learning experiences. With decades of experience in the education sector, Heath Books combines expertise, service and value to meet the unique needs of schools across the UK. And through this partnership, we're giving schools with our ecosystem easier access to the resources they need, streamlining procurement whilst supporting great education. So thank you to Heath Books. Okay, so today's agenda, we are going to be having a look at an introduction to the new financial budgets module within the iComplete platform. We're going to just have a look at some of the benefits of the financial budgets. We're then going to go through a live demo. So those of you who have been on a few of these Lunch and Learns already, hopefully the format will be familiar to you. I'll just give you a demo of how it looks, how to set up the function, and how the users can utilize it going forward. We'll then have a look at the Compleat ecosystem. Obviously mentioned that before, with Heath Books being our sponsor for this session, and then we'll move on to any questions and answers. This is me. I'm a software implementation consultant here at Compleat. I've been with the company just over 7 years now, so hopefully I'll be able to give you a good demonstration of this. Just some housekeeping. I can see you've got all the microphones off at the moment, which is fantastic. You could just keep them off because obviously we're recording this. If you have any questions at all, you should see in your Teams window there is a Q&A box. If you just pop the questions into there, we'll field those at the end of this session. Hopefully we'll be able to get around to all of them. If we can't, we'll obviously drop you a line separately with the answer. So let's introduce the new financial budgets tool within the system. So it is where you can have one budget tracking everything within the system, and you can track limitless nominals within the system. I'll show you how to set up the budget with all the nominals. You can have an additional 2 fields or data items that you're tracking against those budgets. We'll obviously go through that. The beauty of this tool is that you can adjust budgets as needs shift, and you have the the visibility upon purchase and approval to see the impact on the budget, to see whether it is within budget or over budget, and I'll show you how to incorporate that within the workflows as well. The benefits of the new financial budgets tool is that obviously you're reducing the risk of any potential overspend, which is going to have an impact on your revenue. It'll reduce the reliance on the finance department as well, which would equate to time saved. So instead of somebody having to come to finance to make sure something's in budget, it will show them there and then when they're creating a requisition. And obviously it's improved budget management, giving that level of autonomy and control out to the user base instead of them having to rely on an individual or group of individuals. So let's move on to the demonstration of the system. So I've got my test system fired up and ready to go. I'll just move that across to the screen like so. And what we are going to do is bring that back. So what we're going to do first is, this is the new financial budgets tool that has been launched. So obviously called financial budgets. To get this tile visible on your screen, because it's through this tile that you'll be setting up and creating and administering the budgets, to have this tile appear on your screen, you would need to have admin and config access. You would go to the configuration. It's given out on a user level, so you choose your user, and then it'd be down here. You can access financial budgets. Toggle the switch to on, click on save. whoever that user is that you've activated the ability to administer the budgets for, they will then see that budgets tile. We've also got some additional setup that we need to do. If I go to configuration and to layouts, what we'll find on our purchase orders layout is that we now have the enable budget checking feature. So budget checking is activated on a layout level, but also in the workflow. I'll show you the workflow in a moment. But to have budget checking working when a user is creating a requisition or approving, you need to enable that. So I'll just switch that toggle on and again, save layout to save those changes. And then lastly, the workflows. So I've just got a very simple workflow that I have created in my system. So my workflow for orders, because it's at the point of creating requisitions, the budget checking will come into play. And first of all, what we need to do in the header of the workflow, we need to allow budget approval. So I'm just going to toggle that one on. And what that will then do is within each node, we will then have an additional budget approval step become available to us. And what we're able to do through here is we can control at a node level whether this approver or approval group has to get involved with the budget approval. So by setting none, then it won't take any budget elements into consideration. Or we can have, if it is a total or a period overspend, that they would need to get involved and approve with a note to say that they agree with the overspend. Or we can have always, which means that it will always ask for their budgetary approval, regardless of whether it's in or out of budget. So let's choose always for this first example. We have then also got an additional function down here whereby we could add certain criteria into the system, and we have the ability to, if we scroll down, you'll see there's a new entry here for is out of budget. And what this allows us to do is to specify whether it whether that transaction is out of budget at a header or a line level. So for those who are familiar with these particular criteria screens within workflows, we have all the fields that are available at a header level, and then if I scroll down, that will change to lines. So all the fields at a line level, and we can choose that is out of budget at either a line level or a header level. So you can get very specific as to whether it's just a line or the total transaction. I'm going to leave that blank for the time being because I just want a very simple example. I appreciate you've given up your lunch breaks for this, so we will leave that as such. I will click on Save Group, and then I will click on Save to save the workflow down. So it's just those three steps that you need to get the checking for budgets up and running. Setting it on the user, setting it on the layout, and then setting it in the workflow. The next thing obviously is to create our budget itself. So I'm going to go back to Home, and I'm going to go into our new Financial Budgets tool. So when you first come into the screen, you will see it looking like this. We have a toggle to see any closed budgets, and we've got a button here for creating a new budget. So I'm just going to click onto there, and it will bring up this window for me. So we are being asked for the name of the budget. I'm just going to simply call it 2025 budget. We specify its start and end. It will automatically calculate 12 months in advance. You can obviously override that if you want to, but I've started at January. It's going to end in December. We then select whether we're going to be tracking by the net value or the gross value. We'll select net, and then we're being asked for our tracking codes. So it is in here that I will choose my account code and my department code. We could add another code if we wanted to, and so what I've got in here is a mixture of pre-populated fields that have come across from my connection to my finance platform, but also my custom fields as well. So it will allow you to interact with custom fields for budgets. You can have up to 3 in here, but as I said, I'm only going to be using the 2 in this example. Once I'm happy with that information, click on save, and that will save the budget down for me and take me into the budget screen itself. So what we have in here is across the top, we've got our name. We can edit the name if we so wished. Its status, how it's being tracked, what the tracking codes are, and its term. I've then got a button here for add nominals. And if I click onto there, you can see it's then asking for the account code and the department code selections. So I can choose my account code and choose my department like so. And it's then asking for the total. So if I was to put in, let's say it's £500, you'll notice we've got these empty fields spanning across on the right hand side. I can click on this arrows button and that will automatically distribute the £500 across the periods for me. I can go in and manually amend any particular months if I wanted to, and you'll notice it is increasing the total here, or I could remove it for particular months and you can see that it's obviously adjusting the total like so. Now to add the next account, obviously it's add nominals and we carry on like so. However, what we can do is we can import into this function as well. So the best way I've found to do this is just get one line in there, because that will act as a good guide for you when you are importing your budget. So put the first line in, click save, go back to the main budget screen. You'll see we've got the budget now sitting in here. And from this three-line or burger menu here, if we click onto there, you'll see we've got export. And if we export that budget, what it will do is it'll take that one line, it will output it into an export file for me, and I can then use that as a template to then re-import the budget, the full budget as I need to. So I've got an example here of one that I have prepared earlier, and what you'll find is that it's very simply just the two tracking codes that we have specified with the total, and then it's split out across the months. The gotcha I found with this is that if you are using formulas hidden in the background, it will create it to a certain number of decimal places. That in turn could then cause a rounding error when it's importing. So it's best to just copy and paste the values and then just do a sense check to make sure that all the values are adding up correctly as you expect. Now, once we've got that file ready to go, what we can then do is from within our budgets themselves, we can come back to here, select import. It will overwrite all existing data. So confirm that we are happy to proceed, and we can then select our file by either dragging and dropping or selecting it manually. I think I left it open yet, so I'll just close that down. And once it has closed, we will then import that into our system. So I'm just going to drag that across. There we are, file uploaded successfully. So that's now going through its import routine, bringing the transactions in for us. And whilst that's just having a little think about itself, obviously we can create a new budget if we wanted to, but key thing to note is that they can't overlap periods. So if I was to try and create another budget that, say, for example, started in August, it wouldn't allow me because the August 2026 is already incorporated into this budget. We can close budgets. So historically, we could have the 2025 budget in there and close it, and then by toggling the switch, that was include all of the closed budgets for us as well. Now we can see that that has imported. If I now go to my into the budget just by clicking on the name of the budget itself, that'll take me in there. You can see we've now got our budget in there. So those 4 lines that I was showing the Excel spreadsheet have been imported, and again we can go and overtype any particular numbers that we want to. And that's the budget in place. So let's now go and have a look and see how that works in real life. So I've got a requisition that I have already created. If I go to the right place to open it, and it is just sitting here. And in fact, what I'll do is, it looks like I got a little bit trigger happy beforehand. I'll just return it to a saved state. So there we are. So from a requisitioner's point of view, so the person creating the requisition, you'll notice that this line is green with a tick in here. And we can see this line is within budget. So my total net allowance for the month of February in my budget was £41.66. The net value has come to £36, and you can see the line has turned green. If I was to change the account code to be one that we don't have a budget for, you'll notice that no color, and if we hover over here, the line is not included in the budget. So you get that confirmation that it has done a check, it just doesn't have anything in there. Let's change my account code back to one that was within that budget and click on save. Gone green again with a tick. So that's the confirmation that the requisitioner will have that they are in budget. If I was to increase the quantity of this to take it over budget and then click save, you'll see that it turns red with a cross. The line is over budget. So again, it's got that visual confirmation. Let us just return that back to 3, get our check in, and I'm going to submit. So that's from a requisitioner's point of view. They get that visual check on the budget. From an approver's point of view, because in our workflow we set it to always ask the approver for budgetary approval, what we'll find is that our approver, who in this case is Abigail, if I go to her awaiting approval tray, what we'll see is Abigail will also get a visual red or green as to whether it's in or out of budget with a ticker across to confirm. And because we've set it to always, if we go to approve, it will bring up this window here. And what this is doing is telling us for the combination that was used for the month or the period that's been impacted, what the current impact is, what the remaining period value is, what the total for the year is, and then we are invited to enter comments like so. And then you would be approving with comment. If I was to recall this just back to a saved state, so I'll just go back to my submitted tray and recall that transaction. What I'll do is I'll just tweak the workflow to say that I only want to see it if it is or I only want to be alerted from a budgetary point of view if it is over budget. Back into my orders workflow on the node, I change that to total or period overspend, save the node, save the workflow as a whole, back to the transaction. I'll resubmit that out. The requisitioner will still get notification to say that it is within budget, like so. And if I submit that out, what we'll find is once it's had a little think about things and it comes through for my awaiting approval, there we go. Just a refresh on there. There you go. You'll see that there is no budgetary check. We'd still have a line to say that it's not included in the budget, or we don't have permission to view the budget, which is the confirmation again that it has worked, as in it's firing the checks in the background, but you aren't required to actually check it. And because I've selected now only if it's a period or total overspend, let's adjust that number. So we will take that back to the saved state. Oops, So I'm just randomly clicking everywhere now. Let's take that back to a save state, and I'll just very quickly show you how it would work if we are over. So we can have it that the approver only needs to get involved if it has gone, or rather has to only do a budgetary check if it has gone over that that budget amount. So we'll take it over our £41.66. The requisitioner can still submit it out, still follow the workflow as expected. We'll just wait for that to come through. And what we'll find is when we click on there to still say approve, we would then be asked for our budgetary approval. So we can say fine by me and approve with comment. If I just go back to the summary screen, once that has updated, we can see, come on, there we go, paperclip, documents and timeline. There we go, we can see it's carried that approved comments across with that transaction. So that is the new activity budgets. Sorry. The activity budgets is the other budget module, which you are more than welcome to go and have a look at. That is the financial budgets new module within the system. Just to point out, if you would like any further information on it, within the Help Centre, we have obviously the links to all the previous lunch and learns that have been run, but under reporting and budgeting, you'll find is the new section for financial budgets, and that is the activity budgets that I spoke about. Just so you know the difference, activity budgets are what will run in the background to track specific activity. They still work on the analysis tracking codes, but they're more for reporting in the background, whereas the financial budgets will give you that that new upfront budget checking from a requisitioner's point of view and approvers. So let's hopefully that was of use. And just before we jump into any questions, I just wanted to mention the Compleat ecosystem. So it's our built-in supply network that connects businesses with trusted providers across a huge range of industries. Whether you're looking for office supplies, financial solutions, or specialized services, the ecosystem makes it seamless to find, connect with, and buy from the best suppliers without all the usual hassle. And what you see here is just a small snapshot of the many suppliers available through our platform. And the ecosystem, you'll notice we have the banner up at the top on the homepage, and clicking on there will open that up for you. So, so do go and have a look at that. So, do we have any questions at all that we can answer? Just load up the Q&A side and let's have a look. Okay, so just have a quick look. Okay, so we use Xero. What if we complete journals direct in Xero? Can it update overnight and update budgeting complete? Okay, so so yeah, sorry, I was just getting the gist of the question. So the question we've got is using Xero, and in fact, it would apply to any finance platform integration, whereas that integration will bring across or cache the suppliers and account codes and departments, etc., across from the finance platform overnight. It won't, unfortunately, cache the budgets. The budgets would be set up purely within iComplete and stored in there and work within there. So yeah, unfortunately, no integration out to for budgets. How do we get the budget toggle switch available on users? Is this automatically from an update, or do we need to apply this within the company config? So the budget toggle itself, if you haven't got, let me just get back to iComplete. So the financial budget side here, as I said, you have to go through users, and then on a user level, access financial budgets here. If you don't have it here, then if you raise a ticket with the support desk, they'll be able to activate that for you and get that up and running. And where can I find financial budget area in the system, please? Yep. Again, if when you go to users, if you're not seeing it activated there, then by all means just drop the support team a ticket, and they will get that activated for you. Okay, so that's all the questions so far. Obviously, if you do think of any afterwards, feel free to drop us a line. And if you have any suggestions on using the budget module, we're always very keen to learn from customers who are using all of our modules. If there's anything that we could do to help improve the experience for you, if you've got any particular bugbears, speak to us. We are more than happy to talk through any areas, see if we can help improve things. And likewise, if you've got any particular topics that you would like us to cover in the next Lunch and Learn, do let us know, and we will happily consider them for you. So thank you ever so much for your questions. If we haven't got around to all of them, apologies. We will get back to you. As I say, if you do have more questions, then you can contact our success team as well as the support team, or you can connect with us on LinkedIn. And lastly, just before we go, we have a bonus session this month. So on the 26th of February, we're going to be running a session for expenses. So rule the receipts, take control with Compleat expenses, the new expense tool that we have. So do watch out for those invites. I think they're coming out today to you, so watch out for those invites. Do sign up for the session, and we look forward to welcoming you there. So thank you ever so much for your time, and I hope you enjoy the new budgets tool. Thanks ever so much. Thanks. Bye.